So we were wondering what is the best way of reaching your peak cycling fitness. So here's everything you need to know to maximize your fitness with minimal fuss.
For me, nothing beats the feeling of getting out on the bike. The wind in the vents of my helmet and the sense of accomplishment as I smash it on the local climbs.
However, many of us, unlike Liam, have jobs and lives. For us, there is a better way to train, and that's indoors. Indoors, you'll find no traffic lights, cars, even weather. So it's really an effective use of time.
Neither of us, however, want to ride indoor or outdoor exclusively. There must be a sweet spot. Oh, pooey lanes.
So we're going to talk to a coach, find out how you can combine the two to maximize your fitness.
Now, as a bonus, we are going to tell you about a bit of software, about a bit of free software that makes the process really, really easy.
But before we get onto that little nugget of information, let's get an expert's opinion of how you can reach fitness levels that you've never seen before, Jamie.
I bet that still involves riding a bike, doesn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately training is still involved, but I spoke to Garmin ambassador Matt Rowe, a highly knowledgeable cycling coach and brother of current Ineos pro Luke Rowe, to find out how to structure a week and to maximize your fitness. Matt, thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully we can shed some light on the training myths and everything. I would like to start as kind of a suggested week of training. Now, you were telling me off camera that you've designed this for someone that maybe is kind of the average cyclist, you know, a bit more like me, that maybe wants to do some sportives, might dabble in a bit of road racing, but generally a club rider that is just wanting to be nice and fit.
95% of the bike riders that we coach at Rowan King fall into this category of having roughly enough time for 3, maybe 4 indoor sessions in the week when they're tight for time. So indoor sessions normally, again, people tend to be quite optimistic with estimating how much time they've got available, especially when we kind of first get introduced to new clients. But it's kind of around an hour. That's the amount of time that most riders consistently commit to indoor training. So Tuesday is probably going to be the most intense workout of the week, and it's what I call 20-40s. So again, you can play around with the amount of time or amount of repetitions of 20-40s that you complete. But the 20-40s stands for 20 seconds and 40 seconds, and it's 20 seconds high intensity, so kind of a surge in effort, so it's kind of a hard intensity. So if you've got a power meter, we're talking around 150% of your FTP, straight into 40 seconds easy recovery. So it's, you're on it, 20 seconds hard, 40 seconds easy recovery. And those 20 seconds should feel hard, but they're not a max effort, because we're going to do 2 15-minute blocks within a workout. So that's 30 efforts in total. And again, you can play around with the number of efforts you do. You can split them into 2 blocks, 3 blocks, have 1 big block, depending on how your fitness progresses. But this workout does a few things for you. It kind of helps you produce more power above your lactate threshold, so above that FTP, that critical threshold that we talk about, and helps you increase the amount of work you can do above that FTP. So it's a concept called W prime. And we know that it's very rare that you go out in a group or on a bike ride where the intensity is perfectly consistent. And there's always surges in effort. So this aims to help you tolerate those surges in effort by replicating it in training. So it's 20-second surge, hard effort, 40 seconds recover. And what you'll notice throughout each block, each 15-minute block, is your heart rate will actually be more akin to kind of riding in your endurance zone. There's also a nice way to kind of cardiovascularly stress yourselves like an endurance ride, kind of a top of zone 2 endurance ride, but having that benefit of being quite stimulating with those varied efforts. So it's not that boring, basically. But even for the time crunch cyclist who's only got maybe a couple of hour sessions in the week, I still think there's time, especially this time of year, kind of heading into the winter, for kind of a classic zone 2 effort, kind of without any let up. So I think probably the minimal effective dose of zone 2 training depends on how fit you are. But if you're an untrained cyclist and you're new to cycling, then 30 minutes riding at a low intensity at zone 2 is going to be beneficial. Whereas if you're a seasoned racing cyclist, you're going to need kind of an hour and a half or more indoors to kind of do you much benefit. So, but for most, I think if you smack bang in the middle of the week, if we said on a Wednesday you're going to have kind of an hour's worth of zone 2 riding on the turbo trainer, that's going to be a nice solid effort, and it won't be too demanding that you're going to struggle after maybe Tuesday's workout. And it won't leave you too fatigued to do another session on the Thursday. Yeah, so Thursday, again, nothing too crazy. Again, bearing in mind the time of year that we're in. But it's a very, very classic session with efforts around your sweet spot. And the benefit of sweet spot training is you can rack up a lot of volume of this kind of relatively kind of moderate intensity effort, but it's not that damaging that you're not going to recover overnight. So with Friday then as recovery the following day, you're going to be raring to go to hopefully get out Saturday and Sunday. You can play around with the intensity and duration of these efforts. You could do 3 short, maybe 10-15 minute blocks of sweet spot. You could do 1 45-minute block of sweet spot. Ultimately, what you're trying to do is just get as much work at sweet spot intensity as possible in the limited time that you've got.
Saturday and Sunday, I'm guessing you're going to recommend a ride on both days. Is it possible to combine those riding into one really long ride, or is that bad practice?
I often, with my coached athletes, kind of say your target for the weekend is a set number of hours. It might be 5 or 6 hours over the weekend. So if for a particular rider, you've got family commitments on Saturday, just means you've got to try and get that big ride in on the Sunday. But even from a training benefit, as you get kind of closer towards your target event, the concept of periodization says the closer you get towards your target event, the more your training should look like your target event. So if your target event is long distance sportif, a single day long distance sportif, as you get closer to your target event, I would be advocating that on the weekend you do 1 6-hour ride as opposed to 2 3-hour rides. But in the winter, just getting that volume in wherever is convenient for you, wherever the motivation lies, wherever you can get company, wherever there's a bit better weather. Let all those factors come together to determine what your training plan looks like. And again, in the off season, it is the chance to be a little bit more flexible. But then close in kind of the last 6 or 8 weeks before your target event, if it is that one day long distance sportive event, I would be encouraging you to get that one long as possible ride in on the weekend, as opposed to splitting up.
That sounds like an absolutely brilliant week of cycling. Matt, thank you very much for your advice. I best go and try this out or something.
So it actually looks like there isn't too much of a time commitment to getting some serious form into, well, my legs. Or your legs.
Or mine. That would be a fine thing. Actually, a Garmin Edge head unit like this 1040 actually makes it dead easy.
But I'm about to make it even easier now with a free bit of software from Garmin that you need to make use of. Garmin Connect is a hub for all of your rides, be that indoor rides or outdoors, and even your weight, power PBs and sleep. It's all stored there. It works by giving you a load focus, which is the impact your activity has on your body. This means that the Edge 1040 can tell you what you need to focus on and then what workout to do to achieve it. It even takes runs into consideration if you like to mix things up, and even your sleep quality if you use one of Garmin's compatible wearables. This makes it a bit better than TSS alone as a sole metric for determining training, as you might be absolutely knackered from a terrible night's sleep. The Edge 1040 will see that and know to not push you too hard on that day, and then prompt a recovery ride or even a full rest day.
You don't need to have a goal set, and you only need to build a week or so worth of data for the daily suggested workouts to start appearing. In fact, if you've already got activities on Garmin Connect, then you'll be good to go.
Today it's telling me that an endurance ride would be quite good because I haven't actually been training much recently and I need to build my base again. In fact, my ride earlier for filming wasn't big enough to mean that this didn't trigger. So that's how poor my ride was earlier.
So Liam can select to do this ride out on the road, but let's say he's not keen on the weather. He could even do it on the workout on this Neo 2T. It will even engage erg mode to help keep him in the right zones.
So basically all I have to do is pedal.
This Neo 2T is a brilliant choice with a power accuracy of plus or minus 1%, a maximum resistance of 2,200 watts, which is more than we're ever likely to travel, and the ability to replicate up to a 25% slope. Liam can get some seriously hard sessions done right here in his living room.
Given today's session is quite a relaxed one, I don't think I'd ever be testing the boundaries of those figures. But you were riding earlier and it was very quiet, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. The downstairs neighbours aren't going to mind this too much.
It's actually one of the quietest on the market because Tacx has designed this thing with no internal transmission and therefore no fast moving parts, which is nice because, well, it doesn't drown out your music.
Yeah, and speaking of music, Garmin has just rolled out the new control screen for music. You can just swipe down from your head unit and you can pause and skip tracks.
I never skip tracks. No one skips a Swiftie song.
Garmin says that this should only be used while riding indoors.
From this screen, you can also control a workout, which is very handy when things get sweaty, because the Edge 1040 is of course designed to work in the sweat zone.
One of the downsides of indoor riding can be that you're basically sat stationary, which can be uncomfortable, but the Neo 2T can be mounted to the motion plates to enhance and give real road feel with multi-directional movement. You were using them earlier, what do you reckon?
Yeah, so I've been trying them out and I find on long rides they really add a certain something or reduce a certain something, and that's bum pain.
Discomfort.
Yeah.
Well, I think that they're really, really good for those sweet spot efforts when it's a longer effort, but you're really pushing on the pedals. That's where I find them to be the best. So maximising your fitness has become a huge amount easier. Using kit like the Tacx Neo 2T and the Garmin Edge 1040 will allow you to train really efficiently whether you're inside or outside.
Yeah, and then you've got free software like Garmin Connect that allows you to tie all of that together. You can follow a training plan in a matter of minutes, or simply use a daily suggested workout to help you get fitter. That then requires no thought at all.
The cherry on the cake is that once you have your Edge 1040, the training plans and all the clever stuff is all free with no subscription required.
Yeah, and normally coaches can cost quite a lot
of money.
Yeah. So let us know if you like riding outside during winter, or do you stick indoors? Or maybe you do a bit of cross training like Liam here.
Oh yeah, I'm always in the gym. I don't know if you can tell. If you are heading out and about, then we have a brilliant video all about how to layer up for a winter ride.
And as always, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.